So I'm not big on following trends, even though I was once an influencer. I always like to set my own, but this trend right here, I could definitely hop on because it's something I've always been doing. It's just I never put a name to it. I've never like categorize it in any way. But of course, when it comes to social media and TikTok and content creating, now there's buzzwords every time. So even though a lot of us been doing this, I feel like as of lately, to be honest, ever since the boom of content creating and being chronically online of 2020, 2021, 2022, a lot of us are tired. And this is why I could get on the analog 2026 train for sure because it's something, like I said, I've always been doing like for the past couple of years, to be honest. Just being offline, being less digital, and just enjoying your time. So, yes, Analog 2026 is something I could definitely hop on. Let's go ahead and listen to what exactly it is and how people are taking this trend. I don't even want to call it a trend, it's a lifestyle. But of course, a lot of people are going to use it as a trend. So let's go ahead and listen.
What's the biggest trend of 2026 going to be, I hear you ask? Going analog. This past year, we've seen the rise of nostalgia, a switch from iPhone cameras to digital cameras. Here into the
I hopped on the digital camera trend as well. I actually got one, but I lost it in Paris last week, and I am so sad. Oh my goodness. If you are at that restaurant that I went to in Central Paris and you see a pink digital 2012, I think 2011, 2012 Fuji camera, can you please return it? Please? I want it back.
viral analog bag. Yes, I understand the irony of that. See, people are redefining their relationships with technology and social media. Old iPods are getting more expensive as magazines and zines are becoming more popular as people slowly switch to physical media. As the generation who grew up primarily online slowly realizes we don't really own anything. Instead, we have countless subscriptions for movies, music, and other virtual media. Meaning with a couple of missed payments or a forgotten password, we can lose years worth of audio and visual collecting. And just like that, the idea of a digital dark age suddenly becomes a whole lot more personal. Now, all of this, along with the fact that social media has become a more and more divisive space in recent years, what was once an escape from
That's
reality
so
and a
true.
place to make friends and build a community, has become a space that many of us are trying to escape. In 2026, we're going to see people moving towards more analog hobbies. Think CD players, cinema trips, and iPods. Now, let me know in the comments if you could be persuaded to go analog and which analog things you're most excited to switch to.
Listen, the digital camera, like I said, I'm definitely interested in switching from. I actually don't even take pictures with my phone. I've always taken picture with the external, I guess, like external camera, another camera. Like I have my Canon G7X that I always take my, especially night pictures in. But that was literally my main travel picture up until I can't even talk about it. Okay. And then I have my main camera that I use to record at home, which is my Canon EOS R. And then I do have another backup camera. And then I just bought another Fuji camera. So I've never been the type to take pictures with my phone. I only have like a couple of pictures on my Instagram with my phone. And I feel like that was just for the fun of it. But other than that, as you guys can see, I have not been on social media and just posting and curating and doing all of that as of late because honestly, I have grown out of it. It's like I'm at a point in my life where if I post, I post. If I tell y'all, I tell y'all. If I don't, I don't. It's not as though I'm trying to chase a number, trying to grow my following, trying to keep stats. I'm not trying to do that anymore. I'm literally just living my life. If I decide to share, I share. A lot of people are trying to make it seem prestige or, very snooty or whatever. But honestly, a lot of us just are digital fatigue. Okay. So I've been a content creator since 2012, since 2018, full time. And I officially quit 2023. And I don't know if I told you guys this, but I literally was starting to not enjoy the process of having to always document and having always to, even though I'm still a private person or I was a private person even throughout my content creating journey, I just love being able to not pick up anything while I am traveling. Like, I was literally out for 2 weeks from Christmas up until the first week of January, like the 5th, 6th. And throughout that time, I literally was just enjoying my time, enjoying the present, and doing what I want to do without going on social media. I have not even been on my Instagram throughout that time. If I go, I just check to see if any brands are DMing me, because brands are starting to DM instead of email. Get it together. But other than that, like, I'm really looking forward to this analog 2026. I have been looking into buying more books because I don't want to have to sit and read on my phone. I don't mind doing that, to be honest. I would rather read on my phone than listening to an audiobook, to be honest, because I feel like, practicing and speaking the words is so much better than listening to it. I know it's if you have the time, you could do it. But to be honest, I feel as though that's the best way for me to capture what the essence of what I'm reading and just to understand what I'm reading more. Yeah, I'll do a separate video on ways that I am going analog in 2026. But to be honest, I'll just give you guys what I have been doing for the past 2 or 3 years when it comes to being analog or less digital. I don't see this as a trend, to be honest, because this has been my lifestyle for a couple of years now. But it's good to see that people are really starting to prioritize in-person friendship rather than digital friendship, prioritize reading and doing arts and craft and being more creative off of line, prioritize mental sanity and not having to compare themselves to other people every time they log into their app, prioritize actually talking to other people and having good people skills instead of hiding behind keyboards and saying what you want to say. Prioritize learning new things, as in cooking, things that we actually need, sewing, cooking, hobbies that create beautiful decorations in the house, beautiful, whatever the case is, singing, learning a new language, whatever it is. Prioritize actually sharpening your skills and being a better person instead of being isolated and in a digital funk all the time because you're watching somebody else's life having fun, which is only their highlights. But like I said, I'm rambling on. I'm really into this digital, how you call it, digital diet that is coming forth. And I just hope that people are actually doing this because they want to have this for a lifetime and not doing this because it's a trend and then hop on something else. But then people are like, well, it's a trend, but y'all recording that y'all offline. And I'm like, yeah, but anyways, let's watch some more.
Everybody wants an analog life, but nobody wants to put their phone down. Everybody wants that 2026 analog life. I see it all over my For You page, and that is amazing. That's what I dedicated my 2025 to. I really do think I helped pioneer the analog movement. Key is not to film yourself doing everything. Screen time is morally neutral. Do not feel bad. You're not a bad person for having high screen time. But if you want an analog life, you cannot be filming everything. The point of analog is that your phone isn't a part of it. People are calling the analog movement nostalgic, which I totally reject. The analog movement isn't a return to the past. It's a response to our collective digital sickness. It's a searching for a solution. When sedentary jobs were introduced, that was when organized exercise started. We see a need, we see that we're starting to get sick and we need to do something about it. With the rise of all of our digital diseases, that's what the analog movement is. The point is that you are unplugged. So it's fine, of course, to record yourself every once in a while, but you need to have things that are just for you that you do not record, that your phone is not a part of. When you're recording yourself painting or knitting or whatever, that does something to yourself because you're like, this is going to be for a performance aspect. This is something I'm going to put forward to the court of public opinion. I'm telling you, there is such a difference of the those things, and then just an analog life that is lived unplugged, that has nothing to do with your phone or anything on the internet. I did this for a whole year and I had a very analog 2025. My screen time was at an all-time low. If you want the beauty of an analog life, it is so important that you are thinking about your life offline as just yours. I want the feeling of that delicious analog offline, my brain works again. Your phone needs to have nothing to do with it.
I completely agree with her 100%. And this is what I was saying, to whereas I don't know, I'm not addicted to social media at all. Like, I could literally be off at any time when I want, because I have enough hobbies and enough things to do in real life for me not to feel bored, or for me not to feel, oh, I need to go check up somebody on, see what they're doing, seeing what they post. Because honestly, I don't care. In order for you to have a successful analog life, you literally don't care about anything that has to do with someone else's life, right? Because you're so in tune into your hobbies or what you're learning or what you're doing, to where it's not as though like, oh my goodness, so and so is, I know she has a good life, so I'm gonna go see what she's doing. I'm gonna go see what she posts. No, you literally have to disconnect. Helps you hone to your own self and hone into what you like to do. And literally it helps the parasocial relationship a lot of people have when it comes to their favorite content creator. I'm not saying do not admire somebody, do not admire what the person does or like their journey to where they're at. I'm not saying that at all, because everybody is inspirational to someone and someone has an inspiration. I'm just saying, don't be weird about it. Like, don't make it to a point where y'all besties in your head and y'all have never met each other. She doesn't know you from a can of paint and you really don't know her, just what you see online or what she posts. So like she said, when it comes to try not to film yourself doing these analog things. Yes, they give us good examples when people are talking about it, but actually filming yourself doing it and like putting music over it and creating a whole content thing off of it, that kind of defeats the purpose. Now, if you do this once in a while just to show, okay, well, this is what I normally do, okay. But when it comes to a point where you have your whole page catered to it, like she said, it becomes very performative, and it's like, nah, you don't really have an analog life. You just another content creator. So definitely be mindful when it comes to these type of trends or content, to where you turn it into content continuously. If you want to post your analog skills, hobbies, like once a month, a couple times a month, okay. But when it comes to the creators that actually post it every single day, it's like, no, you don't have an analog life. You literally are just being performative, and you are trying to get your clout from this lifestyle. And that's where it becomes the trend, because when people are not interested anymore, and when the internet is flooded with the same thing, people become disinterested. It's like, okay, we already seen this, we already heard this. And then the views start going down. Then you're gonna be hopping on to the next trend, which I see a lot of people do.
I had learned at such a freakishly young age that intellectual intimacy was like my top priority in like having any kind of relationship with a person. And it's low-key so disheartening to live through an age where like everyone is straight up addicted to like social media, and like their attention span is so short that like you're not getting enough dopamine hits to sustain an intellectual conversation anymore. It was hard to come by back then when I like first recognized that that was important to me. And now it is like so genuinely rare. The way that so many people that I talk to cannot have a conversation without simultaneously pulling out a screen to like scroll through something at the same time. I miss having deep conversations about history and then switching over to like science, or switching it up to like spirituality. I don't believe in love languages, but if I did, this would definitely be mine. And the only way that nowadays I'm able to like satisfy this emotional need aside from like a couple of people who I'm really close with, is like video essays.
This is so interesting that she said that because I 100% agree with her. When it comes to, you don't know how irritating it is for me to have a conversation with someone and then all of a sudden they pull out their phone and start scrolling. That is so rude. And I always call out my friends when they do that because how are we in this deep conversation and your first instinct, once it gets quiet for 2 seconds, is pull out your phone? Like, I've had to call out my friends a couple of times because I'm like, mm-mm-mm. Especially those who come visit me. Like, if we're spending time together and I haven't seen you in so long, girl, we have conversations for days. We can talk, even though we were talking on the phone or not. But like being in person and having that in person interaction is so important to me. And it's a different feel. You feel me? So it's, it's annoying when someone does that. And people do that all the time. And I understand if we're talking about something and to show proof or to Google, okay, that's understandable, but not to pull out and start scrolling. Like, what are you doing? What is going on? There is nothing that important on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube for you to pull or on Snapchat, wherever you guys are on this at this time, for you guys to pull out your phone and just start scrolling. And me, I see it's especially rude because I'm the type of person I cannot listen and watch something that I have to listen to at the same time. Like I cannot listen to two people at the same time. If two people try to talk to me, I'm like, yo, one at a time because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. My brain is not splitting to try to accommodate two people talking or multiple people talking to me at the same time. So if I see you pull out your phone and start scrolling, and there is, TikTok always has some type of music, some type of talking. If I see you do that, I automatically think that you are shutting me out and focusing on what you're watching. Because me, if I were to do that, then I would not be listening at all. So what I normally do is I'd be like, I'll wait. Or I just call you out. It depends on what we're doing. If I don't know you that well, I'll wait for the first time. And then definitely after that, I'll call you out. But that is one of the rudest things you can do to me, to be honest. Pull out your phone while I'm talking to you. And me, I'm a talker. I love to talk. Like she said, I love to talk about religion. I love to talk about politics. I love to talk about history. I love to talk about anything that I've learned. There's so much to talk about in this world besides pop culture that can be said. And there's so much that people can learn from other people when it comes to experience, when it comes to teaching one another something. And to just block that conversation, interrupt that conversation with something that is not important at all, that will be there once you stop the conversation, because those content will not leave the internet. It's not urgent. It's the rudest thing ever. Like, don't do that to me. Like, I will call you out for sure. Like, what? A lot of people do not know how to communicate nowadays. And a lot of people they're not aware that they do these things. And they're not aware of how other people feel when they do them. So that's why I call out all the time. No shame.
Obviously, one of the biggest conversations right now is people going analog in 2026 or going offline. And I think to understand what that might mean for our future, it's actually important that we look to the past. We've actually been here before in terms of people going offline. There's a saying that the future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed. And I think that's definitely true in this case. About 10 years ago, when the iPad and more personal devices started coming out, a lot of upper middle class parents were really concerned about the effect on their kids and started to institute policies around having low tech households and no screen time. And over time, that pretty much became the norm within those communities. And I would even say became almost like a moral decision and became a deeper indication of class and status. And so I think I could very much see in a future in which the same happens over the next couple years. I could really see the decision to be offline more and to have a more balanced relationship with technology is starting to be one that feels like it reflects your self-discipline. It reflects more of who you are on a deeper level. I can imagine the same pattern following, where it then also becomes a moral decision and it starts to affect how you think about your relationships with others. You start to almost judge others for more explicitly judge others for their relationship with technology and the technologies they choose to use, and
I
how
just
they
said that.
incorporate it in their daily life.
I agree 100%. I literally just said that to where, yeah, I look at you sideways. Like, I call you out if we're having a conversation and you're just pulling out your phone to scroll. I remember at one point it was always rude for people to pull out their phone and start texting, and then we, end up getting used to it. So I don't want to get used to people pulling out their phones while we're having a deep conversation, in a group, one on one. Like, chime in, talk. Hello, hello, not scroll.
I'm going analog in 2026. I hate to say it, but I am a slave to social media. I'm a prisoner of my phone. I'm just consuming so much all the time, and I think it has really taken over my life. So I've decided that this year I am going to make a conscious effort to live in the moment, do things in the present, not doom scroll on my phone for hours, not worry about posting on social media, not trying to keep up with other people are doing, to be in the moment, doing things in the physical world and not be living in my phone. Here are some things that I'm going to do to achieve that. First one, hobbies. Every free moment that I have, I am scrolling on my phone. It's like I could be learning and doing so much more with that time.
Yep.
So I have started painting, which is so fun. It's very physical, very active, something that occupies my time without being too much effort. I also want to buy some puzzles because it's another hands-on activity that you can do while you're watching a show or listen to music. You can do it with friends. I may be full-on grandma with this, but I want to start knitting. Just like sitting there doing this, you can take it with you anywhere. It's such a fun activity, great conversation starter, and you get to make things. Like, you actually get a product at the end of your activity. Another thing that I'm doing that is going to be super hard for me is a digital detox. So I'm going to do it for the month of June, 30 days, and I have a little checklist of every day to hold myself accountable, because I think that will be a little dopamine hit for me every time I spend a whole day without doom scrolling. I can check it off and feel a little bit better about myself. Last thing is I want to start writing letters, physical letters that I send in the mail instead of just sending a text. I've been really conscious these past few months about staying in touch with people in my life, friends, family, and letting them know how I feel about them, making sure they're cared for and that I'm thinking about them. But I think writing personal letters and then mailing them in person is a lot more personable. It is something fun that can fill my time, and it shows a lot of effort, I feel like, to the person you're sending it to. I just think I've lost so much of myself to this digital world where I'm not like living fully in the moment ever, and so that is something I really want to get back to, and I think will really benefit my mental and my physical, and I hope this inspires other people to do the same, because I think we're so consumed with what we see online that it's really changed the way people interact with each other, and I just want to get back
For sure.
to human interaction and basic like empathy and emotions and for myself. So that is something I'm working on, and I will keep you guys updated, and I'm excited for this new journey for myself.
So I'll come back in another video to go in depth on how I became analog, for the past couple of years, and some other creators, what they are doing to become analog. This was just the introduction video because this is the type of topic that interests me. Life is life, in y'all, and people are just so tired of the mundane scrolling, the watching other people, the consuming so much content, consuming so much of other people's lives, the toxic discourse, all of that. And people just want to be able to live their life fully, because we only have such a short period of time on this earth, bringing up these type of topics open the eyes of a lot of people who have been digitally trapped. So this is a good topic. Let me know if you guys are interested in doing an analog 2026. I'll see you guys in the next video.